West Berkshire, the 1970s. PC Don Barton is convinced that life has taken a turn for the better when he passes his promotion exam and becomes an acting sergeant. Things take a turn for the worse after a violent altercation with a local thug. Later, Don finds himself investigating a hit-and-run case. Somehow, international drug smugglers and the London gangland all seem to be involved. Don is determined to find out the truth, but the more he uncovers, greater the danger becomes. Can he crack the case before more lives are lost? Police Constable Don Barton had just finished eating a rather large and very tasty bacon sandwich when he received the radio message that was destined to change his life. His wife, Rosemary, had put on a couple of pounds since the birth of baby David, and she was determined to shed this extra weight before it became permanent. As a dutiful husband and father, Don was expected to do his share of suffering in support of his wife, and had been advised in no uncertain terms that he was obliged to stick with her through the agony of dieting. This meant eating only healthy food. Breakfast, which he'd taken at home that morning during his official meal break, had consisted of some sort of oaty concoction mixed with raisins. Desperate for something more substantial, Don had decided to abandon the pile of paperwork sitting on the desk of his one-man rural police office, and, having booked on the radio with headquarters control room, he had driven his Ford Escort police van to a transport cafe on the A34, just off his patch. It was here that he purchased his guilty snack. Being a conscientious officer, he had declined the complimentary cup of tea that had been offered by the lady serving behind the counter, much to her surprise. Coppers always wanted tea, didn't they? Especially if it was free. However, as much as Don may have fancied a cup, drinking tea would have meant being away from his radio, so he had chosen instead to consume his sandwich in his van. He had parked in the large open lorry park that surrounded the cafe, and was casually observing the huge lorries, known colloquially as trunkers, as they rolled in and out of the cafe from the main road. Suddenly, silence was broken as the van's VHF radio came to life and demanded his attention. HT for Foxtrot Golf 50 receiving, over. 50 receiving. A34 uncommitted, over, Don replied, letting the control room know that he was available to be deployed. 50 from Foxtrot Yankee 10-3, Chief Superintendent Boxwell at your earliest convenience, over. Don was confused. 10-3 in the 10 code used by the force meant that he was required to attend the superintendent's office at Newbury in person. 10-2 would only have required a telephone call. Confirm 10-3, Control, 50 over, Don requested. Affirmative, 50, please make your way to Foxtrot Yankee. Important, but not urgent, over. All copied, ETA 25 minutes, over. Thank you, 50, HT to standby.